The Electoral Commission is urging political parties and aspiring independent candidates to take advantage of the opportunity to submit their candidate nomination and supporter list through the online candidate nomination system, OCNS. For more on that, on this election Wednesday, brought to you by the IEC, we're joined now by the General Manager for Electoral Matters at the Independent Electoral Commission. That's the Electoral Commission South Africa, IEC, to you and I. James Aphane, good evening. I have a feeling that you and I are going to be friends.
Yes. Yeah, well, we're going to spend a lot of time together.
Spend a lot of time together.
Here at your studios and when you come to our home.
Here, there, everywhere.
At the Rock, the Results Operations Center.
As it should be.
Yes, and let's first greet you guys and the viewers at home and wherever they are connecting to watch this episode.
Sure. Today's topic feels a bit technical to me, but perhaps I'm just daunted because, you know, it's not my field. We're talking about the OCNS, the Online Candidate Nomination System. What is it and how exactly does it fit in with the back end of this road to the 4th of November?
I think you're right. I think one of the reasons why things appear to be technical is because of the abbreviations. Let's get the abbreviation out of the way then. OCNS is an abbreviation for Online Candidate Nomination System. But before we get to the online part and the system part, let's stick to the middle part, which is candidate nomination. Because that is as simple as it is. It's for people to nominate candidates so that they are part of an election comes the 4th of November this year. So in simple terms, let's start with the process before we get into the system itself and the online part of that particular system. In terms of the process, each and every person who is a registered voter is eligible to participate in an election provided that person meets certain requirements, either as a political party, obviously, or as an individual. So one of those requirements is to submit your candidacy for that election. And what we have done at the IEC is we've made provision for both manual submissions and submissions at the comfort of your own home. Hence, we have this facility called OCNS, Online Candidate Nomination System, which we are the one punting, by the way, because it makes it very easy. And for the first time, let's look at this as an innovation to us. We have not had early capture before. We've always had people to capture and submit within the official window period, which is yet to open. But for the first time, we made it possible that political parties and aspirant candidates can do what we call early capture. In fact, say a bit more about that, because while the election is in November, you've had the system opened from June already. What does that tell us about the long lead time? What does it say about the importance of this process? And I like the fact that we're saying the system. Because remember, I said there's a process. So the system, has been opened early so that people can do early capture, make sure that the candidate requirements are met, because one of them is the fact that you need to be registered in the municipality where you would like to contest. So the reason we opened early is the candidate nomination to us is quite an intensive phase in the electoral process, because there is only a limited window within which you can do formal submission. But the reason we're opening it early so that as a party, you're going to submit lists. And we've seen an increase over the years to us. Now we're sitting with about 10,300 seats, or we're going to have those seats for these upcoming elections. And we're likely to have hundreds or over 100,000 candidates that we need to capture. So just imagine having to do that within that official window alone. Run those numbers by me again. So the estimation is the number of seats is what, around 10,000? Yes, 10,300 more or less. But you're going to have just over 100,000 people that would like to take up those seats. You can see the magnitude within which people are going to give us those submissions. So we, as the IEC, as part of our readiness, for the first time, we're making sure that people themselves can capture, detect early errors that they themselves can pick up, because the system is very intuitive and clever. When it comes to official submission, which is likely to open soon after proclamation in early August, then people can then make submissions, and obviously before cutoff, they can sort out their list and order as per their preference. My introduction says submit candidate nomination and supporter list. Why supporter list? How does that fit in with the nomination process? What list is this now? Well, supporters list is actually the voters that support independent candidates. It's only 50 that is required.
So your
But for
candidacy
parties,
needs to be backed up
yes,
by people who say, if this person stood, I would
Yeah.
vote for them.
Well, beyond that, it means you're serious about elections. You're not
Yes.
just somebody who is just a chancer. You know,
Yeah.
you're actually an active person in the society, and therefore people will like to see you on the ballot. So that's the reason why we have the supporters list for independent candidates. For parties, there's no need for supporters. It was a feature for NPE, but currently all they need to do is, as I indicated, certain requirements, including the required deposit amounts that they need to pay.
Let's talk about that, the whole required deposit amounts. This is before we get to that system, right? That whole point at which deposits need to be paid. And what are we looking at in terms of deposits at the moment, if you have that information at hand?
Yes, I do have some rough figures here, Tulas. Let's start with the fact that this election is one of the most complex, because instead of dealing with about 20 elections as we did in 2024, about 19 elections, so to speak, we are now dealing with over 4,700 different elections, 4767 to be precise.
Yeah.
So it means each and every election is slightly different, because there will be different people that are contesting in that election. And for that, the Commission has published and finalized the election deposits. And if you're a party who wants to contest the entire South Africa in terms of the municipalities and the wards, you are likely to pay about 663 or 67,000 rands. When it comes to the candidates, they will be required to pay a deposit of 1,800. And for parties to contest municipalities, there will be different categories of municipalities. For instance, a local municipality will be 3,500. But all in totality, I think it's better for a party to contest the entire space, because you actually get a discount if you do that.
All right, I see. So do political parties take advantage of this online candidate nomination system, and what are the advantages of doing so? Because from a political perspective, I can tell you now that many parties are still trying to figure out who will end up being their nominee in each and every one of the wards that they are going to contest.
And this is exactly why we're doing it early, to us, so that those tensions should not be pushed into the official nomination period. So if parties start early, they themselves can also deal with diffusing tensions among themselves. In the early indications are there are about 20 parties, as the CEO reported earlier yesterday. So now that number is increasing, and the advantage is that you are going to be able to realize that so-and-so is actually nominated in more than one party, so that when the official nomination period opens, then you can certainly see that, well, I thought I have this guy, but he's not with me somewhere else.
Does that happen? A person nominated in two different parties allowing themselves to be nominated by two different parties?
Yes.
Hedging in a way, basically.
Exactly, yeah, absolutely. Because look, democracy is actually a very interesting and vibrant process. So the law allows them to do that, and some people take that opportunity. But there's a period, as contemplated in the soon-to-be-published election timetable, wherein we will not allow people to be on multiple lists. You will have to decide which list you want to belong to as a candidate for a PR list or proportional representation list.
So this is the point when it becomes formal.
Absolutely.
Because this is almost preliminary, is it?
Yes, actually, this is preliminary. For a lack of a better way, Tulas and everyone listening here, let's call it a pre-nomination phase.
Sure.
Or early capture.
All right.
Because the official nomination starts soon after proclamation. And I think it's very clear to clarify, because we've had a number of parties calling us and saying they expect candidate nomination to close because they've had that we have opened the system for early capture. And because they know it's always a short period, they are actually asking themselves, we are left with about a week or so for this thing to close. So it is not the case, to us and everyone listening. The official opening will happen just after proclamation, but now you have got an opportunity to capture early so that your details are being sanitized.
Parting short, as we always do, how do people access the system? You may or may not have the exact web addresses and the apps and everything, but just give us a sense of the various pathways to access it.
Look, we refer to the IEC's website as like a waterhole. as in your bush, where all the animals will go there to get some water. We have all the information there, but additionally, you know that the internet is quite connected. If you search the internet for online candidate nomination, you're going to get the right link, and that link will be able to lead you to a facility where you need to create what we call an OPA, Online Party Administrator. That's the person that is appointed by a party to manage all the candidate requirements or capturing of lists for that party. Because we know that it is a momentous task, you are, as a party administrator, allowed to employ what we call sub-users to assist you with the capturing, but the responsibility remains that of the online party administrator. So once you have got the OPA details, then you're allowed to capture early, detect problems, fix them, so that by the time official candidate nomination opens, then you are able to just comply. All
right, thank you for that. Thanks for coming through and actually making this, simplifying it, because as I was saying, it sounded technical, but I think I'm clearer now. That is the General Manager for Electoral Matters at the Electoral Commission of South Africa, the IEC, to you and I, James Aphane, in our Elections Wednesday, brought to you by the IEC.